Hello and welcome back to Pokemon Origins. In this episode I'm going to be covering Larvitar, Pupitar and Tyranitar. So let's get going. So starting off with Larvitar, its Japanese name is Yogiras. It is the rock skin Pokemon and is number 246 in the National Dex. It stands at 0.6 meters tall or 2 feet and weighs 72 kilograms or 158.7 pounds. It is a rock ground type from Generation 2. Larvitar is a small sage green reptilian Pokemon with rocky skin and an erect spike on their head. They have black markings around their eyes, which are red, and also have several ports on the side of their bodies. They have a red rhombus-shaped belly of sorts, and have fingerless arms and legs. Their tail also resembles a pine cone. They draw inspiration from dinosaurs, and their penchant for eating anything may come from the Tarasque. There are no gender differences between Larvitar, and their shiny version is a lime green body, pink eyes and belly instead of the usual colour. And Pokédex entries tell us that it is born underground and feeds on soil until it is large enough to evolve. The name Yogiras is a combination of Yoji to mean baby or child, Yosei meaning lava, and Kirai meaning hate. Giras may come from Gojira, which is the Japanese name for Godzilla, or Anguirus, which is the Japanese name for Anguirus, which are both dinosaur-like movie monsters that are similar to Tyranitar. And the name Larvitar comes from lava, which is, referring to its kind of eating state that's born underground and such. If we move on now to look at Pupitar, its Japanese name is Sanagiras. It is the hard shell Pokemon and is number 247 in the National Dex. It stands at 1.2 meters tall or 3 foot 11 inches and weighs 152 kilograms or 335.1 pounds. A Larvitar will evolve into a Pupitar starting at level 30. Pupitar is a large Pokemon that is cased in a thick shell of grey-bluish rock and has several spikes and holes for eyes. Inspiration-wise, it's a pupa between the larval stage and adulthood. Not much else to say there. And, like Larvitar, there are no gender differences between Pupitar, and its shiny version has a purple shell instead of a kind of grey-blue one. Pokédex entries tell us that a Pupitar moves around by venting gas inside its body, so ejecting gas from one side to move the opposite way. Its body is also as hard as bedrock, and its thrashing can topple a mountain, so it's a pretty powerful Pokemon. The name Sanagiras comes from a combination of Sanagi, meaning pupa, Kirai, meaning hate, and Giras from Gojira, which is Godzilla, and Anguirus, which is Anguirus, which are dinosaur-like movie monsters. And like Larvitar, Pupitar's name refers to its kind of stage, being a pupa. Finally, now looking at Tyranitar, its Japanese name is Bangiras. It is the armor Pokemon. It is number 248 in the National Dex and stands at 2 meters tall or 6 foot 7 inches and weighs 202 kilograms or 445.3 pounds. A Pupitar will evolve into a Tyranitar starting at level 55. Tyranitar is a large dinosaur-like Pokemon and has fangs on its upper and lower jaws. It also has fingers and toes which culminate in claws, and its body is covered in a green armor-like hide. It has spikes which protrude from the back of its head, its neck, its shoulders and its tail, and it has holes at its knees and on its back and its chest which allow air to circulate around its body. It also has 2 blue rhombus-shaped pieces of armor on its belly and its back. It kind of resembles a combination of Larvitar and Pupitar, with the colouring of Larvitar, whereas the kind of toughness and the scales of Pupitar. It was inspired by Godzilla, which, its strength, its tough skin, its ability to shoot hyper beams, and Godzilla itself was inspired by 3 dinosaurs, the Iguanodon, the Stegosaurus, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. So if you're wondering kind of what this design is based on, that's really what it is. There are no gender differences between Tyranitar, and Tyranitar's shiny form has tan skin with a purple belly back. Pokédex entries tell us that if a Tyranitar rampages, it will knock down mountains and bury rivers, and also that it has an insolent nature that makes it not care about other things or people. The name Bangiras is a combination of Yaban, meaning savage, Ban, meaning barbarian, Kirai, meaning hate, and Giras, either from Gojira or Anguirus, which are respectively Godzilla and Anguirus, which are both dinosaur-like movie monsters. The name Tyranitar comes from tyrant and Tyrannosaurus Rex, So again, going on to the fact that it's a big Pokemon that can't really be controlled that well. Looking at some size comparisons now, we can see that Tyranitar is pretty damn big, whereas Larvitar is pretty small, and Pupitar is kind of in the middle, as with most evolution lines. And now finally, if we move on to some Sprite Analysis, Tyranitar Larvitar stays pretty much the same throughout all the games, starting in Gold, Silver, Crystal. It's a kind of a more light green in that game, and its shiny version is kind of a more paler green, whereas it switches over in the future games. And looking now at Pupitar, its sprite in Gold, Silver is kind of darker than it is now. In Crystal it gets lighter, and we carry that change through to Generation 3, 4 and 5. And its shiny form stays pretty much constant throughout. And finally looking at Tyranitar, its sprite is a bit strange here. In Gold, Silver, Crystal it starts off with a very bright green sprite, but then gets paler, and its shiny form actually starts out being a lot dark brown, whereas it gets lighter in Generation 3 and then even lighter in Generation 4 and 5.